easily replace. All right, it can. Okay, then you have for very costly for complex and critical equipment. Now, this strategy is very costly for complex and critical equipment. Now, there are some critical equipment that you really cannot do anything about. For example, the transformer. We don't have subject matter experts for repairs of transformer as far as Nigeria is concerned. Anything that goes by in the transformer, you just go and get the national power people to come and fix it. So, but if you attempt to want to repair something like that, you can cause further damage to that equipment. And because of this kind of strategy, if you leave it to go bad, you spend so much, because replacing a transformer, we know how much that can cost us. So there are ups and downs for this strategy. Okay, reactive maintenance has the philosophy of repair equipment when it breaks down. If it doesn't break down, then don't fix it. So that's the idea. It's just like your flat screen TV, your smart TV. What kind of maintenance do you want to put around that? In fact, if you attempt to open or to touch it, you might even damage something. So you just need to allow it, let it just be there. I have a smart TV that is just there. It went bad. I said, okay, fine. I just took it straight to the manufacturer and paid some money, and I got another one. So things like that, like what's it called? The microwave equipment. That's another complex equipment that, in fact, you won't even attempt to fix it. You won't even attempt to carry out maintenance. But I've seen people draw up a maintenance schedule, and they will say they want to maintain they want to maintain refrigerator, they want to maintain microwave, and you begin to wonder, what kind of maintenance do you want to carry out around this equipment? And when you present that as a proposal to clients have become wiser these days. They'll begin to look at that and be asking you questions. For this particular equipment and refrigerator, what kind of maintenance and water dispenser, what kind of maintenance do you want to carry out around this? Why are you putting fund around this? The best you can do is to put it under reactive, unplanned reactive work, so that when it goes bad, you just write, get approval, and replace. So this strategy helps you to manage costs, help to reduce costs, whereby you are not putting a long preventive maintenance around an equipment that does not require that. All right, let's move on. Sorry, my screen is really slow. Okay, element of a reactive maintenance, that is respond to fault calls. So reactive maintenance is all about responding to fault calls. There's something we do when we were working with SPDC, we call it proactive inspection. You go around and look for things that are bad. You do not wait for the client or the customer to tell you these things are bad. You go around, you do your inspection, you go to out of sight location, and you unearth issues that and faults and defects to close out. That way it boosts your SLA, because that way you can control when you can close out on that job. For an organization like that has very stringent SLA, like for a plumbing job must be closed out within 24 hours, for an electrical job must be closed out within 3 hours. Very stringent SLA. What you can do to beat those SLA, or to work within those SLA, to achieve those SLA, is for you to do what we call proactive inspection. You go around and see those things that are bad, then you pick them up, you fix them, and then you report them. So the response to fault calls is all about reactive maintenance. You identify the cause of the system failure, you localize and isolate the problem, you disassemble the system, you remove the failed part of component, you repair or replace the part. For example, your pumping machine. My strategy for managing pumping machine is not putting any maintenance around it. I've seen in a location, they said, oh, maintenance of pumping machine. I said, what is that one? So what you need to do is to just have a backup for that pumping machine. Once it packs up, you immediately replace it and take it out for repair. So that is the strategy. So what you do during planning for maintenance is to allocate funds for a replacement, or you just get a replacement and put it as a standby. All right, then verify the condition of the system, then create record. What you do at the end of this kind of maintenance strategy is that you put a record around it so that you can trace what you have done. All right. You say here that complex maintenance procedure, costly for PPM or other strategies, easy to replace component, equipment failure has minimal impact. So for assets that you are deploying this kind of maintenance strategy, you must know that the equipment failure has minimal impact on the core operation, on the operations. You know, you must, for example, a generator is a critical equipment. So you cannot put a generator under run to failure preventive maintenance, because if that generator fails, it has maximum impact on the organization, on the whole operations. So for equipment like that, you already know that this one must be on PPM. And of course, they are not easily replaceable parts. So these are the things you look at as a facilities manager to choose the right maintenance strategy. So we just talked about the run to failure. So run to failure also have advantage and a disadvantage. Let's just pick a few advantages. These are requires minimal staff. Good. For run to failure strategy of maintenance, it requires minimal staff. You don't need to put people on ground to carry out the maintenance. In fact, you can, if you are operating multiple sites, you can have your technician positioned in the main site, and if there's any issue, you just technician, okay, go to that site at VI, fix the fault and come back. So you don't need multiple people at site. Initial low cost. So like I said, these are for equipment that are very low in their cost. You don't do this with equipment with high cost. Little demand on maintenance planning. You don't plan so much when it comes to maintenance. Like I said, for the pumping machine, the best you can do for as planning is to just allocate fund for that pumping machine. If it goes bad, you just go to the market and replace it. But there are disadvantages for deploying this kind of maintenance. Like I said, this is run to failure. Everything, you just sit, you just wait, and if it goes bad, you go and fix it. But there are disadvantages. It increases in labor cost, because sometimes you can't really tell how much you use in fixing that issue. Number one, it will affect your budget. If you are having this kind of run to failure every day in your site, it will affect your budget, because you might have planned that, oh, this year I'll spend 10 million naira. But when you're having this kind of fault, you see that the cost of labor will be affected, and there'll be repeat repairs, and it will affect your budget. Staff resources not efficiently used. Equipment not reliable. Such equipment are not reliable. Frequent equipment downtime. You have frequent equipment downtime. Difficulty in controlling budget. If like I said, once you have issues and issues and issues, you cannot control your budget. There are some organizations that will tell you that for plumbing maintenance, you have 50,000 naira to spend in that month. For electrical maintenance, you have another 50,000. For civil maintenance, you have another 50,000. For AC maintenance, you have 50,000. So you have like 200,000 to spend in that month. If you begin to have frequent run to failure, frequent unplanned jobs, frequent unplanned maintenance, then you see that it will affect your budget. All right, difficulty in controlling budget, reduced life expectancy of equipment. initiate capital cost investment, not maximize inefficiency use of resources, interference with planned work. This interferes with your planned work. Maybe you already have a plan for the day and how you carry out your schedule maintenance, and all of a sudden you are having these issues here and there, equipment failing, for you to now, redeploy resources to that to fix that. So it will interfere with your plan work. So those are the disadvantages of run to failure. But I want to tell us that when you look at your facility, if you're a facilities manager, even in your home, in your house, nearly 90% of the assets you have in your home falls under the run to failure maintenance. Your chair, your table, your fan, your TV, nearly everything. You just have a few, maybe 5% that you can categorize under the preventive plan maintenance strategy. But we are going to look at that. So the next one is the preventive plan maintenance strategy. Now, this maintenance strategy, like I said, only about 5% of the assets in our facility, your asset in your home, can fall under the preventive plan maintenance. So as a facilities manager, when you are drawing up your maintenance schedule, or you are planning your maintenance for the year, and you're bringing up a budget, and if I look at it, and I'm seeing that you have so much items, maybe 50% of your assets are under this plan preventive maintenance, I will not approve that kind of maintenance schedule, because I already know from experience that plan preventive maintenance is not, almost sometimes not more than 5% of the assets in your facility. So as a facility manager, you must bear that in mind, that when you are scheduling your items for maintenance, there are just few items, like the AC, like the generator, items with moving parts. Those are the things that you can place under this strategy. All right. Preventive plan maintenance performed at scheduled interval. So this is a maintenance that you perform at scheduled interval. You perform it in 2 months, or in 4 months, or quarterly, biannually, and all that. So there's a schedule around it. And because there is schedule, there's a frequency. Now, maintenance performed irrespective of failure. So whether there is failure or not, you must carry out a planned preventive maintenance on the assets that you have categorized under this strategy. Measure taken to ensure equipment functions. Now, these are measures you take to ensure that equipment function. Yes, the planned preventive maintenance reduces the number of failure of an equipment. It can significantly reduce that. So an equipment that is under planned preventive maintenance, you can be sure that you won't have so much unplanned failures or planned maintenance, because you are carrying routine maintenance. By the time you are carrying maintenance, you discover things that would have gone bad if that maintenance wasn't done, and you correct it. All right, based on replacing equipment after long use. So this kind of maintenance help you to predict when you want to dispose an equipment. From your maintenance record, you can see that, oh, we have been using this equipment for the past 10 years. These are the failures that we have. These are the costs for fixing the failures in this maintenance. So how much is it? How does it relate to the initial cost we use in procuring the equipment? If it is so high, you can easily say, oh, we are spending too much on maintenance. It is better we buy it, we go for a new one, dispose of this, and go for a new one. So this kind of maintenance helps you to keep records that helps management to take a decision on a particular equipment. So that is a very good advantage of planned preventive maintenance. But like I said, you can't put this around most of the assets in our facility. Preventive maintenance seeks to reduce unplanned downtime. So this maintenance strategy is focused on reducing unplanned downtime and repair costs, but it may not always detect failures. So when you are doing this maintenance, it doesn't mean that when you are carrying out maintenance, you detect failures. Sometimes you carry the maintenance, you detect failures. Sometimes you do, after you finish maintenance today, by 12 noon, by 1 p.m., there's a failure. So it will be like, come on, what did you do? In fact, clients can even clamp on you because they'll say, you've got to spoil the generator. But it's not your fault. These are equipment. Anything can happen. So preventive maintenance sometimes cannot dictate faults before it occurs. Since the approach is not condition monitoring. So preventive maintenance is not condition monitoring. We will go into maintenance strategy that looks at condition monitoring. You know, when you are checking the condition of an asset or facility before you can carry out maintenance. It focuses on the performing pre-scheduled maintenance. So preventive maintenance focus on performing pre-scheduled maintenance. For example, generator. A generator can be time-based or run-based. So you can say every 2 months you carry out maintenance, you use that generator. But if it is a generator that is used, especially like in a country like Nigeria, that we almost our source of power is almost 100%, generator. So for that kind of, equipment, you can put it under runtime. After 200 hours, over 250 hours, if it's a new generator, then you carry out maintenance. So this will help you to keep the equipment working and also help you maximize the useful life of that equipment. Now, elements of preventive maintenance. Components reliability. With preventive maintenance, you know that the components are reliable. You use manufacturer's specification. There are some equipment that you must use manufacturer's specification to put your maintenance schedule around it. And one advantage is that from the manual, they tell you how to maintain that equipment if you want to have optimum benefit from that equipment. But if you don't do it the way the manual specifies, you might lose your warranty. So sometimes it's important to follow manufacturer's specification. There are acceptable standards, industrial best practice, like for a generator. We know that for a generator that is 25 years old, you can't say, oh, you want to put it on a run base of 250 hours or of 300 hours. You kill that generator. So best practice requires that you reduce the runtime. You can move it to 200 hours so that you can still have, benefit from that equipment. But for a new generator, a very new generator, you can put it for 250 hours conveniently without problem. Now, keeping equipment maintenance record. This kind of maintenance strategy helps you to keep equipment maintenance record. Like I said, if you have an equipment and for any reason the equipment packs up and you want to claim warranty, the first thing the manufacturer want to see, they want to see your maintenance record. It's just like buying a new car and all of a sudden it develops fault. They want to see the maintenance record. They want to see how have you really been doing maintenance, in the Western world, when they do maintenance on car, they log it in. If you buy that car, maybe after 10 years, you can easily check the maintenance record of that particular car. You know if that car was well maintained or if it wasn't. But it doesn't happen like that in Nigeria. So that kind of record will help you to make decisions. So if you see from a maintenance record of a car and you saw that, oh, this car had multiple accidents, the owner has not been maintaining it well and what, you can easily take a decision not to patronize, So that is the benefit of record. So for preventive maintenance, the good thing is that you have maintenance record that management may be able to take a decision about that asset. Scheduling equipment replacement at the end of its useful life. So with that maintenance record, you can easily schedule equipment replacement. You can easily calculate the depreciation and say, okay, we are going to dispose of this equipment, we are going to auction it, we are going to sell it for so amount, we'll have money and buy a new one. So that is what preventive maintenance will help you achieve. Maintaining inventories of reliable components. For this kind of maintenance, always you need to have a store where you have the critical spares. I've been to a location, I worked in a location where we don't have critical spares in the store. And once there is any issue, we begin to run from the village that we were to come out to the town to look for parts. And that was not good because the client was not happy at all. The agreement was, okay, because this place is a very remote place, you need to establish a maintenance inventory, a store where you keep your reliable company, your critical spares and everything. But we couldn't do that because we are just rushed to go and take up that contract. So it is very important in this kind of maintenance, preventive maintenance, you must have the critical spares on ground. Component schedule for replacement. With this kind of maintenance, you're able to schedule components for replacement. You can say, okay, this roller, we are going to remove it. This filter, we are going to remove it in our next maintenance. All right. Analyzing equipment requirements, specification of equipment operations, specification of equipment performance. So this will help you know how to operate that equipment and also be able to evaluate the equipment performance. So this kind of maintenance is more than just going to fix or going to service. It is a procedure, it's a process, on its own that can help management take decision about the equipment. Reviewing equipment maintenance record. When you review the record, like you review equipment maintenance record to be able to know the status of that equipment. So the records include the records of inspection, servicing record, frequency of replacement parts record, and record of parts failure. So you have all this record. When you have frequency of replacement part, it shows that a particular part of that equipment, you have been replacing it over and over again. What you do is a root cause analysis. Why are we replacing this part? And if it is a part that is subjected to wear and tear, you need to find out where the friction is coming from. So you can, quickly deal with the, implement a corrective action and deal with the issue. All right, let's move on. So these are the advantages and disadvantages. Like we said, we talked about advantages and disadvantages. Reduces the risk of unexpected equipment failure. This is very key. With this kind of maintenance strategy, you have reduced significantly the risk of unexpected failure. Because when you are carrying out maintenance and services, you should be able to know what will go wrong and quickly fix it during maintenance. Optimal performance of equipment. This kind of strategy gives the equipment optimum performance. Reduce equipment downtime, fewer repair emergency, lower unplanned equipment downtime. Now, as a facilities manager or admin manager or even the HR manager, you must know that downtime is not something management frown at downtime. So what you want to achieve, I've seen people being sacked because the generator went off and for 30 minutes the light didn't come back on. It means somebody didn't do what he's supposed to do. So we try as much as possible to reduce downtime to satisfy our customer, keep equipment safe. This kind of maintenance keep equipment safe. Apart from the functionality of an equipment, as a facilities manager, you must ensure that that equipment doesn't kill somebody, doesn't injure somebody. And that's why HSC is a key part of facilities management, because you are dealing with equipment, you are working in a built environment where you have all the systems plugging into that built environment. You have electrical, you have plumbing, you have everything. And you need to manage that built environment in such a way that nobody gets injured while working or playing in your facility. Improvement in equipment reliability. So this kind of maintenance improve equipment reliability. Take for example even your generator at home. If you are servicing it as when due, you'll be sure that it won't knock on you. It won't go down on you when you are using it for in your home. So it's very important that we put a schedule around it and try as much as possible to comply. So one of the measures in facility management is compliance to PPM. How do you comply to PPM? Are you 100% compliant? Are you 90% compliant? In fact, for some organization, their SLA for compliance is 98%. And that 98% is because they just give room for that human failure that you almost cannot control. Otherwise, it's 100% compliance. Improvement in system reliability, decrease in cost of part replacement, better inventory management of parts and spares. All right. Then the disadvantage, we have higher demand of resources. For you to put up this kind of maintenance strategy, for example, for a generator, you need to get the generator vendor to come and be, if you don't have in-house technician, you need to get the generator vendor that will be coming every 2 months to come and fix the generator and to come and maintain or service the generator. And you also know that because this is a fixed cost contract, whether the filter is good or not, they will still replace it. Whether the oil is still okay, they will still replace it. So it gives you higher demand of resources, high maintenance costs, no consideration given to technical condition. So in this kind of maintenance, you don't look at the condition of the oil and say, this oil is still good, let's use it. No. When that time comes, at that point, you need to replace the oil, you need to replace the filter. But for condition monitoring kind of maintenance, you check if that oil is okay. We've seen scenario where vendor will come and they will check the oil is still good, but because they have to change oil, they will change the oil and go with the good one and do something about it and maybe use it for another client. Replacement of parts that are still functioning. You see that some parts are still functioning, but because you have put a preventive maintenance schedule and you say that every 3 months I must change this part. So whether the part is still good or not, you take it out. So that is, way of, spending money. Equipment still fails after maintenance. I said it before, that it doesn't mean that when you carry out, you are very religious about your maintenance, that equipment will last forever. No. You can finish a maintenance now and immediately that equipment will go bad. It's not because you've not done what you needed to do, but that's equipment for you. Unnecessary maintenance. Sometimes we carry out unnecessary maintenance and it affects our costs. All right, I don't know if anybody has any question before we enter the predictive maintenance. I don't know if anybody has any question. Is there any question in the chat box? Barakat and Co, do we have any question there? A quick recap. We have looked at the run to failure maintenance that tells you as a facilities manager not to do anything. In fact, this kind of maintenance strategy is telling you just come, sit up in your office and wait for that equipment to go bad and before you initiate any kind of repair. Now, because also you are looking at the bottom line, you are looking at the budget of the company, you are looking at the objective of the company. You are looking at the budget of the company. I just have a call coming in. Let me just drop it. Okay, you're looking at the budget of the company. So the company is telling you that, oh, this is where we want to go this year. So whatever you are doing, you are working in line with the objective of that company. We also look at the preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance based on schedule, based on frequency. For equipment that has moving parts, you go for preventive. For every equipment that has moving parts, for any equipment at all that has moving parts, that equipment must be categorized under planned preventive maintenance. For equipment that have consumable, you have to change some things after some time, you put it under preventive maintenance. All right. So our next strategy is the predictive maintenance. This is the kind of maintenance that you'll be able to tell when an equipment would go bad. You maybe predict that, okay, if we do not carry out maintenance on this equipment, we are sure to have a failure in the next 2 weeks. So, but this kind of maintenance is based on condition monitoring. It's based on condition monitoring. For example, a very good generator technician should be able to say when a generator needs maybe a quick fix or servicing, maybe through the sound that is emanating from that generator because of his experience. You know, it's just like the pumping machine too. You can just hear the sound of the pumping machine making a different sound. You can say, no, something is wrong. So you are monitoring the condition through the sound you are hearing. You know, so that's all about, you know, predictive maintenance. And for us to monitor the condition of the equipment, there are devices that you use to monitor the condition of the equipment. There are some generators now that are fitted with these devices that you just go and the display panel will tell you what is wrong or what you need to do, or if the generator is due for repair. So that is predictive maintenance. So predictive maintenance, same as condition monitoring, is same as condition monitoring. Process of evaluating equipment condition. You look at the equipment, you evaluate the condition. This maintenance is very beautiful because it helps you to, you know, carry out your facility maintenance without stress. You know, it helps you to service an equipment even when equipment is in service. As if you don't pull out the equipment, you don't even tell people, okay, you want to turn off the generator, because you already know what is wrong. You can just, while the equipment is working, you fix what you needed to fix. It is data driven. So it is from the data generated from all these condition monitoring device that you put together, you analyze, and you can now take an informed decision based on the data that you have gathered. Suited for critical and complex equipment. So for critical and complex equipment, this is the kind of maintenance you need to use. For example, we talked about the transformer. If we have the device and the suitable condition to monitor the condition, we should be able to say when we can carry out a maintenance on the transformer, because those are critical and they are complex equipment. Performing maintenance on basis of predicted defects. So you predict defects and you conduct, carry out maintenance. Statics, that is specific point in time. So these are also statics equipment. There are some equipment, for example, the UPS, the static equipment, you know, there's no moving part in it. So something like that, you can maintain based on predictive maintenance. But those are high level, very technical, critical equipment, very complex. So for something like that, because you don't have the specialty here, or you don't have the equipment to monitor the condition, what you can just do as a facility manager is just to put it under run to failure. So when it gets bad, you get the subject matter expert to come and fix. Allow comparison with established standard of measure. So from the standard of measure, you can look at the standard and say, okay, we are below standard, then we can carry out maintenance. Identify imminent failure prior to becoming critical. So you can identify failures before they become critical. It's just like when you are driving your car and you are hearing a particular sound, you know, on the tire, you are hearing that sound from the bonnet, and as a wise person, the best thing is to, get your mechanic involved. To say, this sound I'm hearing, before it becomes something, and before it stops me on Third Mainland Bridge, what is it? So that you can quickly fix it. But we know that, once you enter, you turn on the car and it moves, you just be going. Even if you are hearing that sound, you just ignore it until it happens. Many times they will say, didn't you know that this fault is going to happen? But because we are always in a hurry, we are always in a haste, to just get going. Interpret indicators of equipment performance. So from the indicators from the equipment, you'll be able to interpret the performance. You'll be able to tell whether your equipment is performing well. Deal with equipment degradation. So it also shows you when equipment is degrading and easily tells you when to dispose of that equipment. So maintenance is not carried out based on predetermined dates, but based on the actual condition of the equipment. So maintenance in this case is not conducted, is not carried out based on a predetermined date. Unlike the PPM, preventive plan maintenance, where you carry out maintenance based on the date. Oh, I'll carry out this maintenance the 2nd of May, and on the 2nd of the May, you must do it, whether you like it or not. You must carry out that maintenance. You must also know the intervals. So for this, it is based on the actual condition of the equipment. So it is based on the actual condition. This is very, very key. This is very, very important. This is very, very something that if we can know, you help the company to save money. Because when you know that this is the actual condition of the equipment, this equipment requires specific maintenance, then it is easy to manage. But if you are just carrying out maintenance based on schedule, then you'll be spending so much money that the company doesn't even have. This implies that maintenance is performed at the ideal time and resources not wasted on unnecessary work. So maintenance is performed at the ideal time. You see here, what we are looking at the time and resources. Very important for organization. Organization will be looking at their time invested in a particular activity, the resources invested in that particular activity, because all these things impacts the bottom line of the organization. So when you come up with a strategy that will help the organization reduce time, reduce resources, and of course improve the bottom line, then you are in alignment with the objective of the company. All right. Convenient scheduling of maintenance activity is made possible by predictive maintenance. So with predictive maintenance, you'll be able to schedule maintenance conveniently. You don't just wake up one morning and tell your occupants in the estate that, oh, you want to carry out a generator maintenance, you want to take out the radiator of the generator. And they will ask you, how long is that going to take? You say, this is going to take us up to 6 hours. And everybody would like, are you just knowing that you will do that? And unfortunately, it's a weekend. So you put people in darkness for the next 6 hours. So predictive maintenance will help you take care of that. You already know, you tell them ahead of time that so dates at so time, we are going to carry out maintenance on this equipment. So please bear with us. It's going to take us 2 hours, 3 hours, and everyone will be happy, right? So this helps you to schedule maintenance without issues. Okay, so types of predictive maintenance. Like I said, this kind of maintenance can be achieved by using devices and other equipment to monitor the condition of your assets. For example, the vibration analysis, and the thermography, the viscosity testing, for example, the oil in your generator. If you have the devices, the technology to test the oil before you say, oh, this oil is bad. I remember when all this will come to service my generator, every time they will be telling me that my oil is bad. And I was telling them this oil, generator, you look at it, it's still clear and all that. But if I have the devices, I have the technology to test the oil, I should be able to test the oil and say, no, There's still useful life in this oil. The viscosity is still good. Let us still keep it and let us use it for a while. You know, we have sensors that you put around the equipment that will tell you the condition of the equipment. We have meters like our smart meters. We have the videos algorithm. We have the acoustic analysis. These are equipment that use to monitor the condition of an asset so that to inform us when to carry out maintenance. Now, looking at the chart by my right, you see that predictive maintenance can reduce the cost of maintenance significantly. Where you have corrective maintenance like times 10, predictive maintenance will reduce it to times 1, bring down the cost of maintenance significantly. But it has disadvantages because for you to get all these devices that will monitor condition, you need to put a huge investment on buying the devices that can monitor the condition and monitor the condition, generate data, and for you to analyze and take decisions. Okay, why use predictive maintenance? This allows planning for and scheduling of corrective maintenance, prevent unplanned failure of equipment, reduce purchase of spare parts. So with this kind of maintenance, to reduce significantly the purchase of spare part, then reduce maintenance costs, improvement in maintenance planning, increase system availability and reliability. Maintenance is performed while equipment is in service, eliminates or reduces service disruption, allows for early detection of problem. Now, maintenance is performed when it is necessary or needed, which in contrast with preventive maintenance, when equipment is maintained, whether it is needed or not. So the difference between the predictive maintenance from the preventive plan preventive maintenance is that for predictive maintenance, equipment as service are maintained when it is necessary or when it is needed. But for plan preventive maintenance, you service equipment whether it is necessary or not, you just do it. Because number one, that's the contract you sign with the client. Number two, you have a schedule around that particular equipment. So this, you can see that it can save costs when equipment is maintained when necessary or needed. You save costs, but when you just do it, whether you need it or not, you spend more money. All right, these are the disadvantages of predictive advantage of predictive maintenance. With predictive maintenance, you have fewer breakdown, reduce equipment downtime, increase in production, increase component operational life and availability, allow for preemptive corrective action. Then there are disadvantages, high initial startup cost. This is very, very important. If you propose a predictive maintenance to your organization, what your managers will be looking at is that initial startup cost. They will ask you, are we going to spend this so much money to get all these sensors, to get all these devices, just to monitor generator? That's a question you need to answer, because the startup cost is so high and saving potential not readily seen. If you are spending so much to buy other equipment, not even the particular equipment you want to maintain, you must be able to show your organization what is the saving potential in this strategy we want to deploy. So sometimes this maintenance strategy is very difficult, to convince an organization to get a buy-in from your managers. Increase investment in diagnostic equipment, increase investment in staff training. So apart from that equipment that you want to maintain, you need to train your staff on how to use other devices, other monitoring devices, sensors, and everything. So there's so much money that will go into this, and companies will not want to invest in this. Wow. And then finally, we have the reliability center maintenance. This is a maintenance that you do when you deploy the 3 other maintenance. You look at them. The idea of reliability-centered maintenance is for you to choose a particular maintenance strategy that will give you economic value and also give you functionality value, as in you are carrying out the maintenance on this particular equipment, mix-match other maintenance strategy to ensure that at the end of the day, you are spending less on this equipment and you are having high functionality. All right, I think with this, we will stop today. If you have any question, just put it on the chat box and I can respond to you. If you have online Barakat and Co, you can send it so that we can quickly wrap that up before we go. So we've looked at the 3 maintenance strategy, the run to failure. We've looked at the preventive plant maintenance. We've looked at the predictive maintenance. So as a facilities manager, you must know how to deploy this maintenance strategy. Like I said before, for you to successfully manage a facility is not only to make the facility looking good and bright and everything. It's also to look at the bottom line. It's also look at the company's objective, their purpose. Where is the company going about, maintenance? For example, if your organization is bringing in trailer loads of goods, like 100 every week, and all of a sudden there's an expansion and they are saying, oh, right now we want to be bringing 1,000 every week. As a facility manager, you know that you need more warehouse, you need to equip the place, you need to do a lot. So you build your strategy based on where the organization is going. If the organization, oh, look, we don't want to spend so much money in maintenance this year, we are going to keep our budget at this level, then you need to come up with strategy that will be in alignment with that, with the budget of the organization. Otherwise, you'll be having a lot of back and forth with management if you do not understand that. So look at all the maintenance strategy and look at the one that works for your organization. Look at the one that your organization will be comfortable with. Look at the one that will give you optimum result with very low funding. So that way, you should be able to really be at the heart of the business. All right, I think we've come to the end of the session, facilities maintenance strategy. Like I said, if you have any question, put it in the chat box. I will quickly look at it. Otherwise, we'll call it a day. Barakat, any questions from your end? All right, thank you very much. And I know that by next week, Thursday, lunch hour, we'll have Mr. Paul on ground. And then we'll look at that very exciting topic he's bringing up, the in-person sales. Everybody is supposed to be a salesman. But you see that some people are very shy. Some people don't know how to engage. By next week, we'll see the strategy, we'll see how to engage, we'll see that, the kind of confidence we need to meet one-on-one and to get people's confidence, connect with the customer, and at the end, close out on our sales. So thank you very much, and have a very good day.